I'm back. I am so sorry. Evidently, when I was changing from face view to desk view, my fat fingers hit a button and I accidentally ended my video. That was totally my fault. I can't even blame Facebook for that. Totally my fault. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to find me again. My sincere apologies. So let's see. So this is the stamp set that the bundle that I am going to demonstrate today. As you can see, the dies are quite a bit bigger than our normal dies. That's because we're making slimline cards, and the slimline cards are quite a bit longer. So they fit a standard business size envelope. This is one of the Stampin' Up slimline envelopes. And I brought that so that you had scale to see. So this is a card that I made ahead of time. Oops, you know what? And I photographed it with a little piece of there we go. With a mini glue dot. That's how I photograph sometimes. So here is one of the slimline cards that I made in preparation. I wanted to share with you this particular die. And this is, I guess I could turn this around so that you could see it better. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm sorry if you had a hard time finding me. I started the video, and when I turned the video down to desk view, oh good, hi TJ, hi Andy, and I turned it to desk view, my fat fingers accidentally ended the video, so I had to restart, so my sincere apologies everybody. So here is a sample of one of the slimline using this die. After I ran it through the cut and emboss machine, I'll use a piece of paper here. So all of these pieces of paper were set in here. I then placed this over the top of my cardstock and I held it in place. You can use a piece of Post-it tape or washi tape. And I then individually adhered each one of these following this mask. And there are things that I could do with this mask now that I'm done using it for setting the template for this card. And I will describe that to you in just a minute. Oh, it's terrible when you get thrown off because of messing up technology. I will be fine in a minute. Okay, so then here, instead of using one of the Slim Saying stamps, I used the Amazing Thanks dies that are in the January through June mini catalog. And it makes the halo, I'm going to pull this up so that you can see it. It makes the halo color and cuts out the secondary color. So this is not part of this bundle, but I thought it looked nice because of the designer series paper that I had chosen to use here. And then on the inside, and I totally meant to stamp something and I forgot, but I just used some of the designer series paper at the top and the bottom. So this was a single layer of cardstock. The other two cards that I'm going to make will have multiple layers of cardstock. So I'm not using these dies anymore. I just wanted to show you what I had used. Okay. So I've done two things in preparation for today. I made this card so that I could use this mask, and I wanted to use this mask in making a standard size card. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. And then I also used this die and I cut out this piece, and I'm going to pull this up close and see if maybe you can see the sparkle that's on here. The name of this paper, and I knew I was going to forget, so I left my catalog right here is called, this is the Ombre Specialty paper. It's on page 135 of the annual catalog, and it's this here. It comes, there's one sheet of each of 4 colors. And this picture doesn't show you the ombre very well, so I'm going to show you an uncut piece. This shows you the ombre much better. So I thought it would be fun to use the die to cut that out, and then I have all of the little bits and pieces that were knocked out, but I'm not using these on the card front. I will adhere some of these to the inside of the card though. So I'm going to set those to one side. And isn't that just beautiful? So this one I thought would be super pretty on Bermuda Bay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this slimline card first, and then I'm going to switch over and make a standard size card using this mask. So I can move all of this aside, and I've pre-cut everything and pre-scored, and one piece is even embossed on the other card. That's all done ahead of time so that I had more time to demonstrate. So this slimline card, the card base is 7 by 8.5. It's scored at 3.5, so this will be 3.5 by 8.5. I'm going to show you that that will fit inside of that slimline envelope or a regular business size envelope. Okay? Okay. Get out my Stampin', my Pearson mat, my bone folder. I'm going to, again, if anyone had a hard time finding me, I am so sorry. I accidentally ended my video after I did the face view. All right. So I'm going to burnish. And looks like I nicked that. Don't want that to be visible when I photograph. All right. So next, I'm going to tackle how I want to go about attaching this to this piece of cardstock. I'm going to use adhesive on several of these spots, and then on the back of a couple of these half spots that are up here. And then I'm not sure how well I'm going to do about getting it. You know what, I should have grabbed a brand new bottle of adhesive. There we go, now I've got it. The bottles that I was using yesterday were forcing adhesive out at a really rapid rate, and that won't work for what I'm doing. Matter of fact, a lot of times I store my adhesive nose down in a holder, but I think because I want to control the flow of adhesive. Now, if I had wanted to, I could have cut this out using adhesive sheets, and that probably would have been my best bet, but I didn't. And this, because this is a specialty paper and a little spendy, I didn't want to waste it. This one, I purposefully didn't do that because I wanted some flexibility in using this for another task. All right. So again, I'm going to add some adhesive in just a few oh, you know what? I have a better way of doing this. I do. I am going to use a piece of a sponge and a silicone mat. So if you will bear with me for one moment while I locate my sponge. Now these sponges are actually discontinued with Stampin' Up, but I still had some, and I cut mine up and used them to apply adhesive. So that is what I'm going to do in this case. Again, the adhesive sheets would have been a great choice. All right, and I am going to put a little puddle of adhesive right here. Let's see, and I want, you know, I actually do have new silicone sheets, but I didn't pull them out in advance of this live. I'm sorry, so you've got to see my Ikkyo stained. All right, so now I can dab my adhesive. I don't have to put it everywhere. And now I'm going to pick this up and see if I can smartly, there we go. So I just positioned that so that it wasn't, there we go. There. So now, and this is rather flimsy, this really super delicate die. I'm going to turn this sideways so I can use both hands. So I know some of you have been following the situation with my mother-in-law, who was in a bad accident a couple of weeks ago. And just moments before I went live, I received an updated photo of her sitting in a McDonald's eating a hot fudge sundae. She just got her stitches out, some of her stitches out on her face. Look at that. And I see just a little bit of adhesive right there. As soon as that dries, I'll show you how to remove that. Is that beautiful? Do you like it? I love these colors together. And I know I didn't hit adhesive in every single location, but there we go. I think that's going to look quite good. All right, now it looks a little crooked. Let's see, how come? How come? So yeah, I haven't even had a chance to talk to my husband about the pictures we received yet, because he's at work. All right, isn't that beautiful? I think it's pretty. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm just wondering if I can lift that enough to get just a little bit of adhesive to the back side of it. Again, the adhesive sheets would have been the optimal decision here. And if you've watched me any amount of time, you know that I love using adhesive sheets. Okay. Now I'm going to apply that to the front of my card using dimensionals. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. Have you ever seen that technique of applying adhesive before with the sponge? It comes in handy occasionally. Okay, so let's see. Well, that's why it looks crooked, but I think it's too late for me to fix it, so I'm leaving it the way it is. And I don't think anyone's going to notice. So I have the option of either having it go dark to light or light to dark. I like both ways. Looking at it, thinking I like it both ways. There we go. Okay, anyway, my mother-in-law is looking great, and thank you to everybody that was praying for her. She definitely had a rough go of it. You can see how crooked that is from the back, but nobody will ever see that from the front. Let's see, what else can I tell you? It is raining here in the Pacific Northwest. I am going heavy on my dimensionals. And I never apologize for it because I feel better about reinforcing it so that when I put it through the mail, it will get there in one piece and not crushed. A little bit of adhesive on, I think it's my thumbnail that's, things are sticking to. So I simply took that specialty paper and ran it through the cut and emboss machine with this die. And then I pushed out, I knocked out all of these other areas, which will not go to waste. Well, I threw a few of the pieces away, but most of them not. And let's see here. Always such a little tricky scenario. All right, I feel like that bottom is nice and straight. I feel like that's pretty straight. There, that's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, that's right, I was going to remove that adhesive. So I have a rubber eraser, and I'm going to just run it over that little spot of adhesive that was right here. Would have been better if I would have done it before I put this up on dimensionals, but that's okay. Again, anybody that was with me in the beginning and then lost my video, my apologies. My fat fingers accidentally hit the end button on my video when I flipped it over. So, fun times. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just prepare my inner card real quick, and then I'm going to put my sentiment on the outside of the card. So for the inside of the card, I saved some of these that I knocked out, and I thought I could put 2 or 3 here and then 2 or 3 here, and that would make a nice kind of offset frame. You wrote yourself a post-it note about the adhesive with the sponge. Yeah, and you just cut off a piece of the sponge. You don't need the whole sponge. Pretty color combination. Love Slimline cards. Yay. All right. So with this, not a big deal for me to just go ahead and use my adhesive. Let's see, maybe since I went dark to light, maybe I'll do the same thing down here, and I'll pick the light is hitting these, and so it's making it so I can't tell which ones are light and dark. So I was going with the dark, medium, and light, or I thought I was. Just a couple. Maybe something like that. And remember, this is going to have a blue, it's going to have the Bermuda blue frame around it, so that should be plenty of pop. So let's go ahead and place these. Ooh, see, I don't know what it is, why all of a sudden I'm having an issue with my adhesive coming out in big, big blobs. Been happening for 2 days, and it's not the problem of the glue, I don't think. I almost feel like it's like an atmospheric pressure thing, which could coordinate with the mild headaches that I'm having. I tend to have weather headaches, like so many people do. All right. I've got 2 there. Now that sponge came in handy just to pick up that extra adhesive off of that one piece. And here we are. Would have liked those just a skosh closer, but that seems to have gripped already, so just trying to straighten it out there. That's pretty straight. Let's adhere this to the inside of the card, and then we will make the sentiment for the outside. And I played around with a couple of different ideas for the sentiment, and I really did just decide that I was going to stamp Bermuda Bay on white and then fussy cut it out. And it's not even really much of a fussy cut. There we go. So that looks a little less plain when it's adhered to that colored cardstock. It's kind of pretty, don't you think? All right. I'm going to move these extras out of the way. And I actually thought about, once I've cut and placed the sentiment, for which I am using You Are Really Fabulous, I thought I could go in and adhere a few of these back in place. Not all of them, but just a few of them. Let's see. Don't let that be a sign of how hard it would be. Maybe that's not a good idea. There. Yeah, so an example. So I could spot a few of those around the card, around the front of the card, after I've put on the sentiment. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So I have a piece of scrap cardstock right here. So I was talking earlier about the joining special. So right now the joining special is $99 for $125 worth of product. Whoop. And let's see how that looks. That looks pretty nice. I think I'm going to go with that. It is free shipping on that order. You get to customize that order to whatever you want or whatever you need. You get one free paper pumpkin. And there was a reason I was telling you this. Oh, I was mentioning earlier that if you place an order of $99 or about $100 or more, that it is just a fabulous way to place your order so that you get the extra product. And also, if you join Stampin' Up, you get 20% off on your orders. So on everything that you need. And then it also makes you part of just a really fabulous community of stampers. I've met some pretty amazing people that I love so much through joining Stampin' Up. All right. Trying to decide. I'm going to try something here. See if I can just round off all four corners. There we go. So again, I used the Ombre Specialty paper. This, I'm not sure that that's showing up on this camera, but it's quite sparkly. So I probably will not be using a ton of embellishments on this because the paper really speaks for itself. And I think you can see it better in this image. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, so the reason I brought all of that up is here is my host code. If you place an order up to $149, please use this host code. And for any orders over $35, I will send you a package of current embellishments. I'm not loving how that turned out. If you're placing an order for $150 or more and you've decided not to join Stampin' Up, please don't use the host code. And that way you can get what's called Stampin' Rewards, which equates to about 10% of your order you get back in free product credit. So, and you can use it right then at the end of your order. You don't even have to wait until next time or anything like that. Oh, there, that looks better. I like that better. And again, for anybody who may be joining me in the last couple of minutes, my apologies if you were looking for me and couldn't find me. After my opening remarks with face view and I was turning my camera down, I accidentally ended my video. It's kind of a nightmare when you are doing Facebook Lives. Hence the title of this video being called Part 2. It's totally my own fault. Can't even blame anybody else. Almost done with, there we go. All right, so I'm going to, this is my sentiment, and now I can figure out how many of these I want to adhere in here. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to put a ribbon on here or not. I kind of think I need something. This gold ribbon could look good. I don't know, kind of big. I don't want a bow on here. I already know that. All right. I'm going to place this, and I'm going to adhere some of these baubles. I have all kinds of different gems I could apply to. I just had kind of planned on not overdoing it. How about something right about there? And straight would be awesome. Straight without tearing. Hadn't thought of that, had I? All right. There we go. Whew. So, yep, I'm sure that my husband and I will spend a fair amount of time giving thanks this evening for his mother recovering so well. I really wish and hope that someday, if something like that happens to me, that I will recover the way that she has. This has been incredible. I can't even believe the picture that I saw today. I did that last week too, didn't I? Got adhesive on my desktop. All right, I'm not going to fill all of these in. I'm only going to do a few. Only a few. Let's see. Maybe there. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm just figuring out my placement. And I need to have 5, right? I need to have an odd number, and that gets me away without well, I was going to say gets me away without using a gem, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's place that there, and maybe this one here, and then maybe this one over here. Opinions? Thoughts? That one I already adhered in place. I believe this is the correct placement for this one, and it's already fallen right into place, so let me pop that back out. What's kind of keeping me from, one of the things that's keeping me from wanting to put baubles, or not baubles, excuse me, gems. All right, now I gotta get my nose up in here and make sure I get that fixed because I just disrupted my adhesive. There we go. Is that I don't have a lot of, or any gems in these colors, so I would have to either introduce a third color or go with clear, which could work. Oh, you know what? I do have some iridescent gems. They're clear iridescent. That actually might be a good alternative. I'm excited to show you this next card where I'm going to use the mask. And for anyone that joined late, I had already shown this card, and I'm going to be using the negative space, the mask from the negative space here, on a standard size card. Just putting a little bit of adhesive in there so that as I wiggle it around, hopefully I don't make a big mess. There. All right, so I'm looking through the lens, or looking through the camera, and that's looking pretty good. I almost feel like I should put one right there too, but what do you all think? You know, when my husband goes to work, I don't even know until sometimes when I go live that my voice is gravelly. And today my voice is gravelly. I feel fine, but I have a gravelly voice. Right. Now I'm looking through the camera again. That looks pretty nice. And I've just grabbed everything out of the drawer so that I wasn't, oh, you know what? Those pale papaya dots might look really nice on here. Even though this is not pale papaya, I think they would. I had totally not thought of those. Let's pull those out. I have some of the bigger ones. I think the bigger ones would be better than the smaller. All right, so again, I'm only going to place 3. So I want to plan my placement. Probably, well, I could go here or here. And then here, and then maybe here. All right. So I'm just going to set it gently in the middle. That's why I had too much clay sticking off of the end of my Take My Pick tool. Here. I actually feel like that added just the right amount of bling without being much more blingy than the card already was. What do you all think? I don't have a ribbon that made me feel good about this. I don't know. I guess I could have heat embossed gold on the coast on the Bermuda Bay. I didn't really get that straight, did I? Gently lifting it using my Take My Pick tool to, yeah, maybe not worth it. Okay, we're going to move on to the other card. So now we have 2 cards. There's our first 2. The third card is completely, well, I say completely different, but it's not blingy. There's no gold. There could be if I wanted it to be. Set these to one side. And again, here's the Slimline envelopes to show how they would fit. Now this next card, again, is a standard size card. This is the 4¼ by 11, scored at 5½. This will be a top fold card. I'm going to fold that and burnish my fold. For this card, I've already cut my mats. So I have a mat that goes on the front and a mat that goes on the inside. The one that goes on the front, I have embossed it using the Tasteful Touches embossing folder, which is like my favorite embossing folder. These are the 2 pieces of paper that will go on the inside of the card. And this is the piece of paper that I'm going to use this mask on. And so I can what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blending brushes. Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to use a piece of Post-it tape. Just going to create a loop and put it on the back. Hold that in place. And then I can use 2 more pieces of Post-it tape to hold my mask in place, and those go over the edge so it won't interrupt. Let's see. About like such would be nice. So these won't interrupt me applying ink. There we go. I'm going to take my blending brush, and because I'm using Gorgeous Grape here, I'm going to use Highland Heather, which is a great complementary color. And I'm just going to come in slowly. Another way to do this would be to use your daubers. I could use multiple colors or just one. Now my sentiment is going to be Gorgeous Grape stamped on the basic white. Now, my cardstock pulled up from underneath this mask. I'm just going to roll with it. I'm not even going to worry about it. And what looks like it might be streaky or blobby, when I remove this mask, all of that's kind of going to disappear, and what's really going to end up showing more is the white chevron design that we've masked off. So I did not use this on my last card, or not my last card, but the on this card, but there was no reason for it to go to waste. Now, if I had used that, I saw a demonstration where somebody actually laid this down on their cardstock and they applied ink right over this, and then this washed clean. So you have a couple different options. This card's going to go together quick. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I already told you about the new paper pumpkin. I told you about the joining special. I told you about paper blessings. Told you about getting the discount if you joined, meeting a great group of people. I let's see, I'm just going to lift this and take a peek. That's plenty dark. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I think it's beautiful. Now, all right. Remove my Post-it tape from the back. And I am going to adhere this just to one side, and I just need to decide, yeah, I know I definitely want to do it this way because I'm going to offset my sentiment right here. And this has a little 1/16 of an inch border. It would have been more than that, but I embossed this and that shrank the size of my paper. So I am going to adhere this straight down on that embossed piece, framing it on 3 sides. Just like that. Again, thank you to everybody that had been praying for my mother-in-law. I just cannot even get over the picture that I received right before this live started. She's doing so good. All right. That looks nice and straight. Now, and there is a border up here at the top. You just can't see it that well on this gray. All right, I'm going to use dimensionals and raise this up off of this card base. What's the weather where you're at? Oh, thank you, Andy. Which one was gorgeous? Was it this? The masking, or was it the last card? I'm sorry I didn't look at comments as frequently as I should have. Yeah, this grape is beautiful. I really love it. I don't use it as often as I would have thought. I almost placed that glimmer paper or that ombre paper on Gorgeous Grape. I think that would have been super pretty. All right. Now let's see if I can get this a little straighter than I got my last one. That looks fairly straight. All right, so next, you know, I haven't decided what oh, that's what I was gonna do. That's what I was gonna do. I was going to use this to mask the edge of the card. Something like that. So, let me get this back out. Got rid of all my Post-it tape too soon. All right. I'm going to use this to hold down and something about like that. So I'm actually going to, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to protect my paper a little bit and apply, there we go. So just in case my brush was to wander, there. Get that back out, that Highland Heather. again, this doesn't need to be perfect. With watercolors, watercolor images and such being such the rage right now, it's totally okay if we have some irregular color application. All right. There we go. Now the inside of our card will be decorated to go with the outside of our card. How pretty. So I am adhering the, I don't know if he's still on here or not, but sweetheart, I just saw your name pop up, and if you're still on here, I saw the pictures of your mom, and I'm absolutely thrilled, and was sharing that with my friends on here because we've had people that were praying for her. So lots of friends. That's one of the beautiful things about Stampin' Up is I've made some absolutely amazing friends. All right, so now this will go on the inside here, and the inside of our card is decorated. Isn't that lovely? All right, we're almost to the sentiment. And I just realized I have some gorgeous grape ribbon that might look nice on here. That's the darker color of these two purples that I've used. All right, there. Now we are ready to stamp our sentiment. Oh, I was just looking for my scrap paper and it was already right here. All right. Now, this is the first time that I've actually, oh, there's something sparkly on my stamp pad. Let me take a moment to clean that off. I have no idea what that is. Grab my chamois and clean off my bone folder here. And of course I grabbed the one bone folder that had no ink on it, and well, hopefully that'll wash off. All right. So what I was going to say was that I wanted to grab a piece of scrap and stamp this, because sometimes these large stamps I can get kind of a voided area. Oh, but not this one. Look at that. That's beautiful. All right. I worried for nothing. Let me clean that off and do that again. Okay. See, nice ink coverage on there. And now see, I did end up with a little flubby right there. I'm going to try that again. Oh, but I can see through that paper. Yeah, see, there's something on my stamp pad. There's a little bit of debris of some sort. Got it cleaned off again. Let's try that again. And I'm going to try to square it up. See if I can use my paper cutter to, I said paper cutter, but I meant my paper trimmer. Evidently I'm having one of those days. Let's try that again. I guess I should, turning off my video right after I started was probably a good hint, right? That I was having one of those days. All right, so even though that looks a little crooked, I'm gonna, oh man, that could be an issue. I'm gonna try. Clean this off. Grab my paper trimmer. All right, let's see. So, I think I can fix this with my snips. Just that much on that end. And just a tad on that end. And I think that looks pretty straight now. Yep. All right. You are one of a kind. So I think I'm going to straddle this seam line here between my embossed powder, my embossed layer and my masked layer. I'm going to straddle this here like this, but I think I want to put a ribbon on this one. And I've got a couple options. I could either go with this gorgeous grape, or I could go with, I think they're calling this one Highland Heather. Yep, they are. This is a Sparkle Highland Heather. And nope, I'm not reading that one. So I think it's going to be this one. So then I need to decide, am I going to do a zigzag? Am I going to just do like a couple of loops like this? Or am I going to tie a bow? So let me tie a bow real quick. I made a beef stew for dinner. Just kind of rainy, drizzly, not cold. This is not my finished bow, but just trying to decide if I want to use a bow on here or not. You are one of a kind. You want a bow? You want a bow? I don't like the bow. Okay. So I am going to do this zigzag situation here, like that, I think. I'm not loving any of it. I'm just being picky today, aren't I? You are all being so sweet, putting up with me. What I should have done is I should have I don't even like that. How about a short one? Maybe it's because I've got these stripes here that I'm having such an issue. I don't work a lot with that particular kind of. I'm going to put these up on dimensionals, and then I'm going to grab, I've already got them here because, oh, I don't know about, well, I do have some big pearls here in the right colors. my first choice. All right. Almost done with our last card. So you're one of a kind. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking the iridescent dots. I'm not a huge fan of these. Got these metallics, which I absolutely love. If you all saw how much I was flipping through right now. Okay, so I've got these iridescent dots. Those are a little on the green side. Then I've got these. You can't see very well. There we go. Let me pull these out of the packaging and see, those could look real sharp. All right, that's what we're doing. Take my pick tool, and I'm not going to use the big ones. I'm going to use the smaller size. So, I don't know, I'm inclined to think I need one down here. And then, oops, come on, a couple up here. I probably could have put those closer. Like that. I ruined that one. There we go. I feel good about that. All right, so my friends, today we have made 3 cards. I made one ahead of time. Get all this stuff out of the way. Get this blending brush out of the way. There we go. So here is the Slim Sayings using a standard size card. Here are 2 Slimline cards. Slimline sized cards. So here we use that Ombre Specialty paper. Here I use the Expressions in Ink designer series paper, and then for this I did not use this bundle. I used the Amazing Thanks dies. And then here I used the mask, or I used the negative space as a mask on this card on a standard size. And then this is from the Sentiments. Both of these are Sentiments from the Slimline Sayings bundle. So I hope that that was inspiring to you. My mind kind of went crazy with wanting to make all different kinds of things. But I was limited in time, so this is what we're doing. Again, if anybody had trouble finding me at the beginning, I am sorry. I accidentally ended my video shortly after I started. Thank you for joining me today. Again, here is the host code, and I appreciate you all so very much. Please stay safe and be well. My heart goes out to all of you. Have a great day.